And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Up first, flying weather for Tuesday morning. Big area of IFR here out over the Bering Sea, right in along the southwest coast there into Togiak Bay, Dillingham, and then marginal VFR here in the central interior, extending all the way down into the Matanuska Valley and Prince William Sound areas there and eastward. VFR to the north there, all the way out to the Arctic coast. Marginal VFR here for the Aleutians, as well as the southeast coast and the Gulf of Alaska. For the afternoon, IFR burns, or marginal VFR becomes VFR here for the southeast coast, so some pretty good improvement there. Marginal VFR out over the ocean here, mostly maybe into central Prince William Sound in the afternoon. Otherwise, good VFR here in interior Alaska, as you can see, all the way up to and off the Arctic coast. And out here over the northern Bering Sea, IFR to St. Lawrence Island, the Bering Strait, maybe Shishmaref, and then a band here right down along the southwest coast, St. Lawrence Island, Nunivak Island, and on down toward Atka Island into Nikolsky. For the morning time frame, this area holds here over the northern Bering Sea with a couple of bands coming southward from the main area there. One in toward False Pass, another one down over the east central Aleutians. Otherwise, marginal VFR out to the west. And good VFR interior Alaska, down into Kamishak Bay, Barren Islands. Marginal VFR, IFR up to the southeast side of Kodiak Island. And marginal VFR for the North Slope and at least the central and western Arctic coast. Staying good here for the southeast coast, mostly VFR with marginal conditions right along the coastline. Then for the afternoon, IFR just appears here over all of the Gulf of Alaska, right on up into Prince William Sound and the North Gulf Coast there. IFR, Barren Islands, Kamishak Bay, east side of Kodiak. And increasing marginal VFR for the southeast coast. Good VFR in the interior. South of the Alaska Range, though, some areas of marginal VFR showing up, but should be mostly VFR for Cook Inlet in the western Kenai Peninsula. IFR now kind of pulling back south of St. Lawrence Island, west of Nunivak Island, down to about the Pribilof, so St. Paul, St. George, forecasting IFR for the afternoon Wednesday. Everywhere else out west, marginal. And for the passes, Anatuvik and Adigan, both looking good tomorrow for the Brooks Range with VFR forecast for both passes. Lake Clark and Merrill as well, VFR. Rainy starting out marginal, becoming VFR, and it looks like windy will be pretty marginal throughout the entire day, as will be Isabel. And Fantastic VFR at times, marginal VFR at other times without any discernible trend one way or the other. Tanita VFR. Portage VFR, Chilkoot and White, rather marginal. Freezing levels about 2,000 feet here over the interior, with 4,000 to 6,000 feet over the southern panhandle, and about 4,000 feet there right along the Aleutian chain. Moving on to icing here, that big storm coming in out west or out there. A lot of a pretty good area of considerable moderate icing here. Nunivak Island, almost up to the southwest coast, covering much of the eastern Bering Sea here. Eastern Aleutians into the Alaska Peninsula, and could be some isolated moderate mixed icing here over the southeast interior, as well as the northern panhandle. And the jet stream here, southwest flow, 60 to 75 knots there, coming right into the southwest interior. Northwesterlies, 90 knots across the Gulf of Alaska, and about 85 knots out of the northwest there across the southern southeast coast. And for 9,000 feet, low pressure out there over the Bering Sea, and we've got 40 to 50 knot winds blowing around that center. Otherwise, much lighter here over the interior, all the way up to the Arctic coast, southward to Kodiak Island. West winds at about 40 knots here over the central and southern southeast coast. 9,000 feet, light winds for the Panhandle, Gulf of Alaska, all of interior Alaska until you get up to the western Arctic coast, and there about southeast 25 or so out of the east-southeast. And then low pressure here in the central Bering Sea. And again, winds blowing around that center anywhere from 30 to 45 knots. Looks like it'll be strongest here across the eastern Aleutians. And for turbulence with those winds, considerable moderate turbulence for Unalaska Island westward to east of Atka. Light to isolated moderate up to the Pribilofs, Alaska Peninsula, Nunivak Island, right along the southwest coast, or the Yukon Delta coast of St. Lawrence Island, and possibly the western Arctic coast. Otherwise, pretty smooth for the Gulf and the Panhandle.